Okay, so as we get into the bands, I suppose I have to cast now that we actually have a match. So, the first thing we notice is the two bans were both Blitz and Taric. So banning out those all-in kill lanes, both teams doing. In such an isolated match with no jungler or mid pressure, if you fall behind to a kill lane, you are in a very, very poor position, as it's going to be very hard to get back into that game. So both Blitz and Taric being those very high-powered kill lanes that you often see, if either of those, they go in a hard engage with a Blitz kink grab or a Taric stun, and they pick up a kill and get ahead, that can pretty much be the game right there. So we do see that Team 1 picked up Sona. So Sona is a good poking support with high all-in potential at level 6. We see Team 2 picking up Nunu and Caitlyn, so that's going to be a very heavy poking team. Nunu just dropping Blood Boil on Caitlyn and allowing Caitlyn to really exploit her highest range in the game at level 1. To really poke them down with that increased attack speed from Blood Boil. So it's a very solid duo composition. Skills very well into late game, and it can be very hard. It's interesting to see them picking that in reaction to a Sona pick, as Sona does actually do pretty well against Nunu. Is able to sustain up the poke. Nunu drops down from his snowballs and is able to poke him down with her power chords. And, Sona does decently well against Caitlyn as well, as she does have the potential to poke down Caitlyn if she gets a little too close, doing her auto attack harass, and sustain up at least part of the poke that Caitlyn will be putting out. But that is definitely a very mean combination. It's a very popular lane in high-level play, especially. One reason why it's very popular is that it's very hard to mess up. It doesn't rely on engages, it doesn't rely on skill shots. It really just relies on the support, blood boiling the AD carry, and the AD carry harassing, which at high level play, any AD carry, is very, very good at mechanically, and is able to harass a lot just by exploiting his range. So we'll see what Team 1 is going to pick is Ezreal. Alright, so we have Ez Sona against Nunu Caitlyn, both two very strong poking teams. However, Ez Sona do have the benefits of sustain, so we will see that. Of course, the new Caitlyn does have a lot of poking potential, a lot of kiting, but as Sona do have that all-in engage at level 6, so one thing we might see is we might see them be really go hard when they both hit level 6, especially if they hit level 6 before Zodiac and Flu do. We might see Terradium and Luxor really, really go hard at level 6. It's a very common method you can use in any lane, especially bottom lane, to secure an advantage. Is if you have a slight level advantage, especially at big levels that provide you with large power boosts. Like there's a large difference between champion's power level between level 1 and 2. You just getting an extra ability is very significant. On most champions, that extra ability is especially significant towards their kit. If you look at like Alistar, being able to have his W, both his W and his Q, really increases effectiveness. Same with Leona, being able to have her E and Q really increase her effectiveness, etc. So that is one common method that you can use to really pick up, to win lanes, is you really take advantage of hitting these big clutch levels earlier than your opponents. In particular, being able to hit level 6 before your opponents, level 2 before your opponents are often the big ones that you will see a lot of aggression coming out towards. So hopefully they should be locking in here really quickly and getting good to go. Once again, this is just purely for practice. This is just a scrim for these two teams to practice. Both these teams had buys in the first round as their opponents did not, as their opponents were not showing up. You know, they did. Both of these teams did forfeit. So hopefully this will be a good match, good practice for both teams. And like I said before, this is not actually a requirement of the tournament, but it is going to be fun. So. Well, Nunu does have a little bit of sustain, at least on himself, because of his consume. So, and he also has the highest base HP in the game, which makes him rather tanky. And he can definitely take Sona's harass, but Kate is going to have a hard time sustaining until she gets some lifesteal. So that's a good point. Ellis Pharaohs. But as the spectator delay kicks in, let's go ahead and get started here. As I said, I will have the Twitch chat open on my second monitor, so I will do my best. If you guys have any questions as while the match is playing, I will do my best to answer. I will try to provide a fair amount of analysis while casting this play-by-play. So, for those who don't know me, I suppose I should introduce myself. My name is Rakalaka Lili. I was a platinum rank in solo queue last season, as well as ranked 5s. My ranked 5 season was one win away from diamond until I got on a losing streak. It's very sad. I've also have a fair amount of tournament experience, online tournament experience. I ran a team in various levels of competitiveness for the last couple of years. We won a Go for LOL here and there. Well, we won one Go for LOL number 77. In a 3-week span, we got second, third, and first in Go for LOL, so it was really fun. We beat some good teams. We beat like Dirt Nap Gaming when Atlanta was on it. We beat Team Infamous Gaming, which is V-Man7's team. So we beat some good teams, had a lot of fun. So I have a fair amount of experience with this game. I main bottom lane, both AD carry and support. And so I'm hoping to provide some good insight into this game. I also used to run a stream where I analyze people's replays they submit, but I just don't have the time to do that anymore. But you can see those VODs on my Twitch channel and my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/rakalakaliLol. But that is enough about me. This is not the first match. This is just a practice match. So Teridium and Love Swords were the victors of the very first match of the tournament, as their opponents did not show up. And Zodiac and Flu were scheduled to play in this time slot right now, but their opponents did not show up. So what we are doing is just having these two teams play each other so that they can get some practice and they're not going into their second round matches cold. So all this is some practice, does not matter, but it should be fun. Excuse me, should be a good time. It should be a very interesting matchup. Now looking at this matchup, I would typically give this matchup probably to Sona and Ezreal, but this is definitely going to be very player skill dependent. And one thing that is concerning is that Tritium is only a summoner level 28. Whereas Zodiac and Flu are both high 1400 elo players. So just looking at the raw statistics gives we can probably expect Nunu and Caitlyn to just have higher skill. They're more experienced players, and their rating is higher. But that said, you know, with Love Swords not having a rating, it is hard to really judge his skill based on a number that we cannot see and does not exist. But we also see the silver portraits coming out from both Zodiac and Flu, indicating that they played Season 2 last year and achieved a silver rank in Season 2, which I believe was, below 1500. I think it was, I actually don't know the lower bound of silver rank, but I believe it was maybe 1250 to 1500. I actually have no idea. I should probably know that, but I don't. Anyway, if we look at the summoner spell selection, we do see let me just reply to this question. So if we look at the summoner spell selection going on here, we have let me make sure that my stream is set up okay. You guys please tell me, is the stream laggy? Is it okay? I have not streamed in like a couple months, I don't think. So I want to make sure that it's okay. I'm using Open Broadcaster software, which I don't think I've ever actually used to stream before, but I've tested it. So hopefully we're okay, but let me know if it's laggy, if it's crappy. I think I'm blinking, so I need to switch to borderless. That should fix the blinkingness, so it shouldn't be blinking anymore. Okay, it's good. Awesome. Glad to hear it. Anyway, so if we look at the Summoner Skill matchup, we see Sona with Flash and Heal. No Exhaust on Sona. It's very standard for support to take Exhaust. Then we see Ezreal with Flash and Ignite, very standard there. You know, want that Ignite to help secure kills. On the other side, we see Caitlyn with Flash Ignite, once again, very standard. Sometimes Caitlyn does not take Ignite as her range is so long. Sometimes it can be difficult for her to get in range to use that Ignite. Then we see Nunu running Exhaust and Heal. So Nunu opting to have no Flash, so he will not have any method of escaping, which is interesting. We also see Nunu starting with a green ward and a pink ward. So the pink ward is a good idea in this matchup. That's going to secure his bush advantage, make sure that he can sit in the bush undisturbed. And if Sona does ward that, he can go ahead and pink that and get rid of that. So that will give him bush control. And in bottom lane, bush control is very important. If you're able to sit up in this bush really, really close, I'm actually going to turn my music off. If you sit in a bush really, really close, you're able to get harass off on the opponent's unreturned. That is something that can be very important. Right away, we see Caitlyn using her range advantage, getting a free auto attack on Ezreal. And while that doesn't seem like much, those free auto attacks is how Caitlyn is going to win that lane. Once again, another free auto attack on Sona, unreturned. And another one, another free auto attack. So that's 3 free auto attacks worth of damage Caitlyn has already dished out without taking a single point of damage in return. We also see Caitlyn with an interesting start, starting with a red elixir and 5 health potion. So that red elixir is going to act as a burst heal for her if they get an engagement and she decides to pop it, in addition to granting her 15 attack damage for 3 minutes. So very interesting choice here. That's definitely an early gamble. If she's not able to use this potion to get this elixir to get a strong advantage, she's going to fall behind because that is 250 gold used on a consumable. So far we see game is going pretty even right now. Caitlyn does have a 3 CS advantage on Ezreal. However, Ezreal does have more creeps left to kill. But Caitlyn is getting a lot of harass down on Ez and Sona. They are falling a little bit low. But once again, Sona is going to be able to provide the sustain. Sona stepping up to get a little bit of harassment, but she did get punished heavily for that, dropping low. I wouldn't be surprised if we see her using a potion soon. Another Nunu snowball coming out, more harass, but Sona does return her own Q on that. More Caitlyn harass coming down. Caitlyn being very aggressive, lots of harass coming down on this Ezreal. This Ezreal is falling very low. Once again, more damage, free right click by Caitlyn. Caitlyn still sitting on 5 health potions, so she has a lot of sustain here. So this is very interesting what Caitlyn's done. She knew that she was going to take a lot of poke in this matchup against Sona. Sona taking a lot of creep damage there, trying to hold the wave. One thing you always want to be careful of when you're playing the lane is you have to make sure that you're not fighting in creeps, as creeps do add up. I mean, each purple caster minion doing 12 attack damage. If you're tanking 6 of them, that's more damage than Caitlyn's putting out just by standing in minions. So you got to be really careful about that. So far we see Sona is out of potions and very low mana. Ez only has 1 potion left, but Caitlyn is sitting really strong right now with 4 health potions. So this is already a scary matchup for Sona and Ezreal, and Sona walking up missing her Q. So you always want to get that Q harass on Sona, but if you miss it, and you just end up hitting creeps, it doesn't do you any good. It wastes your mana. And Sona falling very low. Sona's going to have to go back to base now. She's very low in mana. She's very low in health. She is in really serious danger right now. She is a headshot, a Q, and an ignite from death. And yeah, she's going to be forced to base. We'll see what happens with Ezreal if they're able to really punish Ezreal for staying here by himself without his support on this tower. So we'll have to see what happens. Let me pull up my client. I think you can do this while spectating. I know you can do it while playing, but if you go to your system tray and click the client, you can pull up your client, you can access your friends list and all that while you're in the middle of a game. So Ezreal is falling behind on CS, and there it goes. She's very, very low. And then he thinks about diving in, but decides that it is not worth it. Ooh, the Caitlyn Q coming out across Ezreal. Piltover Peacemaker. So Ezreal's very low, but he doesn't want to base. If you are forced to base when the wave is pushed up to your tower like this, that can be very, very bad for you, as the tower is going to go ahead and kill all these minions and deny you all of that experience and gold. So that is one thing that Ezreal does not want to have happen. Here we see Sona is able to get a little tanky now. Looks like Sona's actually going to be maxing her heal in this lane. So it's very standard for a Sona to max her Q, to be aggressive with that damage output going. That is what I personally like doing with Sona. Pink ward's the pink ward. That's going to give them bush control in here, so Nunu is not able to sit up close to them. One thing to note, though, is that Nunu is now out of mana. But Nunu, whenever Nunu's out of mana, you have to be a little careful about that, because it's deceptive because of his passive. When Nunu's passive is up, he can cast his next spell for free. So if you're playing Nunu, if you're playing against Nunu, just because he doesn't have mana doesn't mean he can't cast the spell. If his passive's up, he gets that spell for 0 mana. You gotta watch for that. So Ez at this point falling behind about 13 CS, which isn't terrible. And one thing that we did see is that Sona did pick up an early Philosopher's Stone, so that's gonna help the blue team with the win objective of this tournament. So at 20 minutes, we will count the gold count. So we will look at 80 carry gold plus 80% of the supports gold. So that Philo Stone is just helping build up that money amount. Caitlyn doing a great job. Saw Ezreal in between her traps, knew that he can't step on a trap, so he's going to have a hard time juking side to side and landing that piece over Pilkmaker. So very, very strong play there, knowing that Ezreal is not going to be able to juke side to side and just landing that harass. But Ezreal still only about 11 CS behind. You know, this gap is not widening. It's staying pretty consistent here. As long as he can keep farming up, he's going to end up being okay. But one thing the blue team has to be really careful about is they do not have the lane control right now, and they're not going to be able to base without missing a lot of CS. Oh, actually, purple team saying, you know what, we're out of potions, there's going to be a lot of harass, Nunu's out of mana, let's just back right now, let's get some items, and then let's come back and win, and then win the lane. So we will see what Love Swords and Turidian really need to do right now is they need to go back to base as well. They're not doing themselves any favors staying here. They're picking up, you know, just a few CS, but all they're going to do is that now they've mismatched. So if they go back to base now, which they desperately need to, as Ezreal has no items, if they go back to base now, Caitlyn and Nunu are going to be there. They're just going to push the lane right back out at them and probably push it up to the tower, as Caitlyn could push it very fast with her Piltover Peacemaker. So it seems like they were trying to push it up to the tower, but what they could have done is they could have just based when the wave was here, as there were a lot of purple minions. They could have actually frozen the lane, went ahead and based, and then came back, and the lane still would have just been sitting right here. That's typically what you want to do in a real game, but in this 2v2 matchup when there is no jungle and no mid to pressure against you, it can be really it can actually be disadvantaged. You know, normally in a game you want the wave to be frozen right here on your tower, but in this kind of setup you actually want to keep the wave pushed up as long as you can fight the enemy team. Here we see Nunu doing a good job zoning out the Sona. Says, look, I know Ezreal's not there. You're not going to get any experience while he's not here. I'm just going to sit here and block you out. So very good job there. Very good zoning. And this is one reason why I think Sona just should have gone back with Ezreal. She could have picked up, you know, something, I don't know. He had 680 gold. You know, could have picked up a ruby crystal or just something. And instead she just sat there and just got zoned out. So Ezreal just using that ultimate, get some damage on Caitlyn. The Sona comes out. Lots of damage coming out. First blood picked up by Sona and Ezreal. Very good play. Very good aggression. That's that level 6 burst right there. Just catching Zodiac in that burst. Bursting her down. They were not able to react. Flu was not able to get the heal off. No exhaust came out. So kind of a misplay there by the support, you know, in that engage. If as soon as that Sona ult comes down, if you drop that exhaust on Ezreal, and if you hit that heal, Zodiac very well may have lived, you know, had his flash up, could have flashed out of there, had the red pot, could have used that for, you know, a bonus, probably about 150 or so HP. So great first blood pickup. Unfortunately, it did go on Sona and not Ezreal, but still, great first blood. CS is even. This game is just straight even now. And Sona, Ezreal, they're going to be able to do that again as soon as the little ultimates come up. They have a lot of burst damage. They have a lot of engage. So that was a great play coming out by them. Very, very good play. Okay, sorry. I'm just checking my client to see if the people from the next match have added me or not yet. Which does not look like they have. Oh, Ezreal, Arcane shifting away from the Piltover Peacemaker just to land in another trap. Do you see Ezreal's actually very low mana now? I don't know if he stayed long enough to get all of his mana at base or if he cut it short, but he's actually about half mana already in this lane, which is not good. We do see, looks like we see Nunu 2 points in his Ice Blast, is now leveling his Blood Boil. Really going to allow Zodiac to take control of this lane with just that attack speed, that move speed, everything. Once again, we see Caitlyn pushing very hard. That is one advantage that... Oh, Sona taking a lot of damage coming out. Going to have to be really careful about the Caitlyn ult. Ooh, Caitlyn with a nice move using her 80 caliber net? 90 caliber net to jump out of the Ezreal ult, avoiding that damage. Very nice dip there. Sona taking a lot of free damage there, though. She got behind, she got ahead of her creep wave, and then all of the creeps were hitting her, and Caitlyn just unloaded. That Blood Boil Caitlyn really took her down. However, that Sona ultimate is up. No summoner spells on the blue side, though, and the purple side still has all of their summoners, so they're going to have to be a little careful now because of the summoner skill advantage. They can really take advantage of that on the purple side. And once again, Ezreal low mana, he's going to really have to be conservative with all of his spells. He's got to keep enough mana to use his Arcane Shift. He's got to keep about 90 mana to always have that available. You never want to get caught without mana, so you can't use your escape. That just feels really bad. Zodiac playing very aggressive, has that Vamp Scepter now, has the sustain to match their poke as long as she stays in control of the lane. Using that Arcane Shift to help last hit that cannon minion. That's risky, because now that Arcane Shift is on cooldown, he's going to have to play especially passive. And man, they're in trouble without having a mid lane or a jungle to come help support the CS. You know, this is a war of attrition. Caitlyn just wants to get some free damage to sustain up with that lifesteal, and that's how they're going to win this lane. She's eventually going to run them out of mana and out of health, and that's all she wants to do. We've noticed a playstyle change after losing in that 2v2 happened earlier. We see Caitlyn, Zodiac and Flu playing much more passively now. Flu's hanging back, letting Caitlyn control the lane with the Blood Boil. And it's working a lot better for them here. But this game is still very even. We see Caitlyn only about 5 CS ahead of Ezreal. You know, very close game. That brilliant engagement by Terradium and Love Swords really helped out. Well, we see Caitlyn just with the constant pushing, forcing Ezreal to last hit under tower, forcing them, you know, to worry about last hitting with the tower so they can't harass. There we go, Ezreal missing a CS to the tower just like that. And here they go, they start hitting that tower. You know, taking down that tower is going to provide them with a lot of money. It's going to, in the name of the game in this 2v2 tournament is money. You know, the victory condition is whoever has the most money between 80 carry plus 80% of support. So. You know, typically in a Summoner Rift game, you don't necessarily want to push all day because that leaves you vulnerable to ganks. But in this game where you don't have to worry about ganks, it's actually a really good idea to be pushed. Caitlyn can also harass them under tower really well with her range. If they are in front of the tower at all, she is going to be able to auto-attack them without drawing tower aggro. And man, this Vamp Scepter Caitlyn is really putting a lot of pressure on them. We see Sona is out of mana, is going to be forced to go back. We see Sona did pick up a Cage's pick. Once again, just that gold generation is going to help them win the game because the name of this game is gold. And we actually see that Sona has almost an 800 gold advantage on Nunu, and whereas the gold between support and AD, or the 80 opposite 80 carries, is actually really close to even. So we do see the blue side has a fairly commanding lead right now. It is 15 minutes in the game. 5 minutes are left in the game. At 20 minutes, this game will end. So all the blue team has to do is just keep farming, keep going even in farm, and not die and not lose their tower. Now, the tower going down, that is going to help even up the difference. It's, I believe, 150 gold each? Around 150 gold. Could be off on that. So that is going to be a fairly big deal. Let's see, what is my next match? My next match is scheduled for, oh, right now? Let me go ahead and, I gotta kind of go AFK. I'll go ahead and throw on the directed camera, but I need to do some, see what's going on with the next scheduled match, as that is supposed to come up really soon here. But I don't believe anyone from one of the teams has added me yet, so let's go ahead and see what's going on. Oh, I hear Caitlyn ult coming out. Let me go back in, bring Sona low. Sorry, like I said, I'm trying to do this administrative stuff for the setup of the next match. But that brought Sona a little bit low. We do see Ezreal picking up that red pot. Goodbye, you know, since the match is only going to last about 3 minutes longer, you know, there's not much that's more efficient for your 250 gold than picking up an elixir, so very interesting choice there. Ooh, we actually see Caitlyn going back to base. This is an interesting decision, as Ezreal does have ult. We'll see. Right now would be a really good time for Ezreal to just ult this wave, push into our tower really quick. It would deny Caitlyn all of that gold, but now I think they realize that they're not there too late, so they're going to push it to the tower, but Caitlyn is going to be there really any second now. Hopefully they get it to the tower and are going to be able to deny them some CS. But this is a very close game. It's down to the wire. And I'm going to have to go mess with my client really quick to see what's going on. I don't believe... Oh. Alright, let me see. I might have to go ahead and just set up this next game right now. I might have to jump out of this one a little bit early, unfortunately. Let me see. I was able to contact No Man Asari, which is one of the members of this next match. Caitlyn really going on the aggressive there. As just using that ult to clear out the creeps. Sona forced to heal. The Caitlyn ult coming out. Ezreal does not block it. Sorry, my casting is really bad, but I'm trying to set up this next game, so I'm very distracted. Apologize for that. Purple team's tower goes down, so that gold will not count, so we'll have to subtract that gold when we do the totaling. So someone will remind me of that, so this will be a little deceptive, as that gold amount does not count. But I am just going to go ahead and pause this exactly at 20 minutes, and we will see what happens. Pretty close game here. Blue side does have 1,000 gold advantage, but I believe... Okay, but that tower did go down in time. That is going to be a nice gold boost, and Sona does die. Oh, they might be able to close the gap right now. This is going to be an extremely close gold count at the 20-minute mark. They're going for this. They're going for the dive. The snowball comes as a slow. The exhaust comes. The Nunu ult. They pick up the double kill and the ace, and that just might have won them the game. We will have to calculate the gold totals. I'm going to pause it exactly at 20 minutes, and then I'll have to go ahead and calculate the gold totals, subtracting the tower gold for blue side. But man, what an exciting game. Okay, 20 minutes. I got to calculate the gold totals now. So let me calculate gold totals. How much tower does a tower give you? I guess that's the question. I guess before I do this, since this game didn't actually matter, I should really, well, No Mana Sorry is not communicating with me, so they have 6 minutes. So they have 6 minutes until they forfeit. It's 150 gold. Okay, cool. So I was right. So I'll need to subtract that amount from each of their respective golds. The blue side had 5238 minus 150 plus 4402 minus 150 in parentheses times 0.8. So blue side had a total of 89.6. The purple side had 6224 plus 3641 times 0.8. 9136.8. So very, very close match. Very close match. Really just the double kill and tower push all in the last minute of the game, securing them the win. They were losing before that play. Very, very close game. Very exciting.